I'm super happy to be here with you today for another resiliency session here at the Lighthouse. A rich community, we are a rich community of solitude and unity and simultaneity in this quarantine period. Of course, my meditation partner has showed up to say hello to all of you, as she reliably does at the beginning of every resiliency session. This is Philippa, for those of you who've not met her before. She's a very masterful meditator. So let's get right into the core of our gathering today. Since we gathered last week, I've been thinking a lot about what does essential mean for me as a woman, for me as a practitioner, for us as a community of practitioners, and something that keeps arising in my awareness with supreme articulation is that joy is essential, right? So in order to make it something that is part of our ongoing perceptual reality, we have to decide at the level of 100% decision that we're going to go pro with sustaining our joy from the inside out enduringly, because joy is essential. Joy is essential. And how do we do that? Practice, right? With all of these integrative practices. So for myself, I'm interested in the kinds of practices that allow me to become more comfortable with being uncomfortable. I'm interested in the kinds of practices that allow me to put my hard hat on and turn the light on and climb out of the chasm when the valleys and challenges of life begin to show themselves. I'm interested in the kinds of practices that empower me to take the quantic leaps so that my parachute of life can open. And I'm interested in the kinds of practices that give me the golden key to my precognitive intuitive wisdom, so that I know what moves to make prior to the making of them. These are the kinds of practices that we go into every time we gather for any kind of integrative work together. So one of my favorite ways, I got the Taita Inti with us today, which feels really good to be back with him. It's been really way too long. So clearly one of my favorite practice technologies for doing all those things that I just mapped out for us is through sound science, right? So the gong, it's more of a tool than it is an instrument, and the gong, it's the ultimate upgrade for our parasympathetic nervous system. It addresses any of the blackouts that might be in our electromagnetic field, and it really soothes any of the quanta-utero glitches that we might have that are going on in our sensory system. And in my views, this is all really good news. This is all stuff that we want to be endeavoring into, and that we want to be moving into, and that we want to be healing and awakening through. So we're going to do some meditation work this morning with the gong. So let your listening meditation help you access your meticulous mind. Let it help you do that. Let it be a kind of expedition into your innermost happening. Let your imagination, as you're listening to the atonal sonic medicine of the gong, let your imagination pour lavishly through your awareness in the same way that Mother Nature opens her watercolor palette every morning and spills it out across the sky, lavishly, unabashedly. Let that happen in your awareness. Let the listening meditation let it invite you into your gallery of emotions and sensations and perceptions, so that you can be the mechanic, and you can make little tune-ups here and little tune-ups there. So take a moment with me, and maybe some of you are familiar with this opening mantra, in which case you can sing it with me, and I'd love that. Otherwise, just breathe it in. Breathe in the sound and let it really bring you into the moment. Let it bring you home into your body in a beauty way. So these sounds, which are bija sounds, the seed sounds, we work with bijas a lot in integrative practices. This particular code, this template of bijas, is specifically designed to lift the life force energy in your body from the lower dimensions all the way up into the more etheric, subtle dimensions, okay? So that we can be there. So here we go. Inhale wholeheartedly. Exhale deeply. Lam shude shude soham vam shude shude soham ram shude shude soham Yam shude shude soham Yam shude shude soham Ham shude shude soham Sham shude shude soham Om shude shude soham. Inhale wholeheartedly and exhale deeply. Exhale in such a way that you can be sensationally confident that there is zero residue in your body of that breath that was just there. So this first meditation, which is going to involve a mudra, a shape with our hands, and then a breathing technology, which I'll give you here in just a moment, and then the sound of the gong, is the prism of communication. So this particular meditation is really useful for us in this time as we're really in a most remarkable cathartic reset. It helps us to become undefended in our presence. It helps us to become unobstructed in our communicative modalities, so that we can become living, lucid, multi-directional superconductors. Right? So that life can play us more beautifully. So you're going to conjoin the thumbs, the tips of the thumbs, the tips of the index fingers, tips of the middle fingers, not the tips of the ring fingers. Keep those separate from each other. And then also join the tips of the pinky fingers. So you've got this kind of like prismatic triangulation of emptiness between the hands. Now you're going to take the tip of the thumb and you're going to press it into the sternum, into the breastbone, and it should feel really right away like you're plugging into something most remarkable. Okay, so no sound effect necessary, but plugging in, okay? So the breathing technique, which is very accessible but profoundly effective in its transformational capacity, is going to go like this. So you'll make the circle shape with the lips, and you'll drink deeply, but in a very relaxed manner. You'll drink deeply of that inhale, And you'll let it live for a moment's time inside of your body. And then you exhale out of the nostrils, okay? So you've heard me say this, you'll hear me say it again and again and again. But let yourself be as relaxed as possible as you endeavor into these meditations. The more relaxed you can be, the more you can throw out the welcome mat in front of the lighthouse of your body, the more rejuvenated you'll feel on the other side of the experience, okay? So stay real relaxed and let the whole thing in. So I want you to do this at length while I gong for you, while that atonal medicine penetrates and permeates and recalibrates at a really deep and meaningful level. If at any point your mind offers its opinion that you're tired or that you're done with it, remember that there is, I dare say, there is a godliness in endurance. In all of these technologies that I teach you have some component of endurance in them, don't they? Which is really good, right? Because especially in times like this, we want our highest, most compassionate, strong nature to be that which is in the driver's seat. So just practice the art of staying, and so let's do it, okay? Move the beast. Create the mudra, tip of the nose gaze, circle mouth. Remember your ring fingers are not joined, and then exhaling out of the nose. Stay in this for some time. Inhaling wholeheartedly every time, and exhaling deeply every time, going to zero, going to zero. Let this be your last exhale for this meditation, friends. Coming again to zero, coming into the clarity and the neutrality of your awake mind, your present body. And just coming back into this shared space together. So, for the second practice that we'll do this morning together, this is a neck release, and this has been in our portfolio for years because it's so effective. And it's effective, in terms of liberating the tissues of the body. But if we're interested in the continuity and the continuum of how practices are communicating with each other in a way that makes us feel more whole here now, this was the prism of communication, right? Allowing us to become better communicators at every dimension. And this next practice is going to open up the roadways so that your head and your heart, it's really actually more than just your head and your heart. It's opening up the roadways so that your head, your heart, your hands, and your hara can all be in righteous intercommunication every time you open your mouth. Every time. So we're going to open up the neck going in both directions. I'm going to just turn on a track for us. This is my track. I'm singing a mantra called Teta. This is a medicine Buddha mantra. This is a medicine Buddha mantra, so it's a mantra for compassion and medicine mantra for healing. So as you're hearing the mantra and it's entering your body and your awareness and your electromagnetic field, may it help to heal you, and then as your field becomes more healed, may that also then be projected out as your gift, as our gift to humanity, as a wish for healing for the whole of our world in this time. So I'm going to call all the physical articulations. So you're going to take your left hand and bring it down to the floor and bend the arm. Oh, in just a second. You're going to bend your left arm and then reach your right arm out and up and then over. Now drop your left ear deep down towards the floor, deep down towards the bend of the left elbow, and then with a few pulsations, reach from the pit of the right hip, from the base of the buttock bone, all the way through to the tip of the right middle finger. Inhaling wholeheartedly. Exhaling deeply. Now keep your head as it is and reach your right arm to the right, and then oscillate the hand and the whole length of the arm back and forth. Inhaling every time wholeheartedly, and exhaling deeply. Now bring your right hand to your right knee. This is where it gets difficult because our head is going to want to lift, but don't do it. Keep your head hanging, but bring your spine back up into its original north-south track. And then wrap your left arm over the top of your head. Bring your left hand to your right ear and then pull your left ear down. Climb the spine a little bit more. Inhaling wholeheartedly. Hold on to the breath. Exhaling deeply. Inhale. And exhale. Now for these next couple of breaths, feel your breath moving into the right ear, into the right side of your jaw. Feel your breath moving intentionally into these places. Feel breath in the right side of your neck, in your right shoulder, the top of the shoulder, the front of the shoulder, the back of the shoulder, inside of the shoulder, in the right upper arm, in the right underarm. Now bring the fingertips of your left hand to your left temple and use your hand, use your fingers to lift your head back up to neutral. For myself, this is always a very compassionate sensation of helping myself out. If you ask me, we all have a lot of growth to do in that arena, learning how to help ourselves out in terms of, where our needs are. Let's do the same thing on the other side, but before we do, very gently turn your head to one side, and then the other side. One side, and then the other side. Good. So bring your right hand out to the right, bend the elbow so that the arm is in a bit of a right angle. Reach the left arm out to the side. Take it up, and then over, and pulse. Dropping your right ear deep down towards the bend of the right elbow, and you're pulsing not just from the left shoulder, but from the nucleus of the left hip joint. Inhaling every time wholeheartedly. One last reach. Now take your left arm and reach it all the way over to the left and oscillate back and forth, bringing the palm of the hand up and back and then down and forward, up and back, down and forward, up and back, down and forward. Let the meditations help you become more comfortable with being uncomfortable when that's the reality of what is. Let your meditations help you find the hard hat when necessary so that you can climb out of the chasm. Let your practices empower you to pop open the parachute and take the quantic leap, the risks that are necessary in order to grow. Let your practice give you the golden key to your precognitive, intuitive wisdom so that you can make the moves in a mindful way. Bring your left hand, please, down to the top of the left knee and thigh. Bring your spine back up to its north-south axis. Reach your right arm out to the side. And then wrap your right arm over the top of the head, bringing your right hand to your left ear. Use the weight of the arm to help the head relax down. Inhaling into the bottom of the pelvic floor, into the bottom of your heart, and into the center of your mind. Undefended, unobstructed, living, lucid, multi-directional conductor of life force energy you are. Now bring your right fingertips, the peace fingers of the right hand, to the right temple. Lift your head back up for yourself. Help yourself out for a moment. And then turn the head very gently side to side to side. And facing center. So, in India, there's so many beautiful words, but a couple of my favorite happen to be, there's a very loud car driving by at the moment. A couple of my favorite words happen to be Amrita and Madhurya. So Amrita is that sweetness, that nectar that we begin to feel rushing right underneath our skin when we engage in these awakening practices. Your entire sensory system can almost taste it. It's the deliciousness of joyful living. It's when we are in our essential nature of joy. That's when the Amrita is really flowing. And then Madhurya is the next step of having awakened our Amrita. The Madhurya is when we share this sweetness with everyone that we come in contact with in a way that is sincere and personal and honest and empowered and vulnerable all at the same time. So I very, very, very much hope that today's meditation brought you to a place in your heart that is full of what is called santosha. Santosha is contentment, and it's not just any old kind of contentment. Santosha is like a really deep, feline-like quality of contentment. So I wish each and every one of you a day full of santosha. Don't forget that replays can be found on your Integrative Practices website, which is integratives.org. The replays show up about within 24 hours after each gathering. So please use that resource. You can also subscribe to that blog so that every time a new resource shows up, that it gets delivered right to your inbox. You don't have to remember to go to it. It'll come right to you. So again, that's integratives.org. Thank you so much for being here. It's really such a joy to be able to gather with you all in this way. Have a wonderful Tuesday. Sat Nam. Namaste.